Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, around 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep just won't come back? It's a quiet struggle many older women face, a restlessness that sneaks in like an uninvited visitor, leaving you tired, frustrated, and sometimes a little lonely. You might have thought, this is just part of getting older, but what if it's not? What if there's something more behind those sleepless hours, something science is beginning to understand? Sleep troubles often get brushed off as a simple fact of aging, but the truth is, they can affect your energy, mood, and even your heart health more than you realize. Many dismiss it as just how it is, yet the impact can quietly erode your well-being day by day. In this video, I'll share 5 gentle, science-backed tricks that can help you reclaim those lost hours of restful sleep without turning to medications or complicated routines. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll discover the most powerful habit you can start tonight to help you sleep better and wake up refreshed. You're not alone in this journey. I'm right here with you. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Tip 1. Relax your mind with deep breathing and mindfulness meditation. There's a certain kind of quiet that settles over the house around 3 a.m. It's not the comforting hush that signals restful sleep, but a kind of emptiness, almost like the world has paused and left you alone in your thoughts. Maybe you know this feeling well. You wake up and at first, it's just a vague sense of being awake, your mind still drifting between dream and reality. But as the minutes pass, the silence grows heavier, and soon your thoughts are racing. Old worries, to-do lists, memories, even aches and pains seem to speak louder in the dark. You check the clock, sigh quietly, and wonder why, at this stage in life, something as simple as sleep has become so complicated. If you're like many older women, you might have told yourself this is just part of getting older, something everyone has to put up with sooner or later. You might remember your mother or grandmother quietly making tea in the kitchen at 4 a.m., unable to sleep, but never really talking about it. Maybe you've read that waking up in the night is normal for people your age, or heard it's just the way the aging brain works. So you try to ride it out. Maybe flipping your pillow, adjusting your blanket, or listening to the soft ticking of a bedside clock, hoping sleep will come back on its own. But let me ask you, does it have to be this way? Is waking up at 3 a.m. and lying awake with restless thoughts truly just the new normal? Or is there something gentle and proven you can do to help your mind find calm, even when sleep feels far away? Science has some wonderful news here. While it's true that sleep patterns can shift as we get older, it doesn't mean we're powerless when our mind refuses to rest. One of the most effective and natural ways to invite sleep back into your night isn't a pill, a gadget, or a fancy piece of technology. It's something as old as breathing itself. Let's talk about deep breathing and mindfulness meditation, and why these simple practices work so well, especially for women over 65. When you wake up in the middle of the night, your mind often jumps straight into problem-solving mode. You start thinking about what you need to do tomorrow, things you might have forgotten, or even past regrets that have no business keeping you awake. This is your body's stress response at work, a leftover survival mechanism from long ago, meant to keep us alert in case of danger. But in today's world, most of our dangers are invisible. Worries about family, finances, health, or even just that creeping fear of being alone with your thoughts. Deep breathing is a way to gently signal to your body that you are safe. When you focus on slow, steady breaths, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, what scientists sometimes call the rest and digest system. It helps your heart slow down, your muscles relax, and your mind shift out of high alert. Mindfulness meditation, meanwhile, is simply paying gentle, non-judgmental attention to your breath, your sensations, or the sounds around you, instead of letting your thoughts race out of control. There's real science behind this. Research from Harvard Medical School, among many others, has shown that deep breathing exercises can lower blood pressure, reduce the stress hormone cortisol, and encourage the release of calming neurotransmitters like GABA. Mindfulness meditation has been linked to better sleep quality, improved mood, and even greater resilience against the aches and pains that sometimes come with age. Best of all, these tools are always with you. You don't need any special equipment, a yoga mat, or even to get out of bed. The next time you find yourself wide awake in the stillness of early morning, here's something gentle you can try. First, bring your attention to your breath. Don't try to force anything. Just notice the natural flow of air moving in and out. Then, slowly begin to lengthen your breaths. Try this simple pattern. Inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4, hold that breath for a count of 7, and then exhale softly through your mouth for a count of 8. Some people call this the 4-7-8 method. It's a rhythm that calms your heart and helps release tension in your body. Repeat this breathing pattern 3 or 4 times. If thoughts come up, and they probably will, just notice them and gently bring your attention back to your breath. You might also focus on the feeling of your chest rising and falling, or the coolness of the air as you breathe in, the warmth as you breathe out. If you want to take it a step further, try a simple mindfulness exercise. As you breathe, silently say to yourself, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. This little phrase isn't magic, but it's a reminder that you're allowed to be gentle with yourself, even when sleep is hard to find. Let me share a real story that brings this practice to life. A few months ago, I spoke with Linda, a retired school librarian from Ohio who struggled for years with early morning awakenings. She'd lie in bed, frustrated and exhausted, feeling as if she'd never fall asleep again. When a friend suggested she try deep breathing, Linda was skeptical. How could something so simple do any good? But out of sheer desperation, she gave it a try. Each night, when she'd wake up at 3:15 or 3:30, Linda would start her breathing routine. Slow, steady, gentle. At first, she still felt restless, but over the next week, something shifted. Her heart stopped racing. Her thoughts grew quieter. Some nights she drifted back to sleep, other nights she simply rested in a state of calm. Most importantly, she stopped feeling powerless in the face of her insomnia. It was like reclaiming a little piece of my night, Linda told me. Even if I didn't sleep perfectly, I didn't have to feel anxious or alone. The beauty of deep breathing and mindfulness isn't just in how it helps you fall asleep, it's in how it gives you back a sense of agency and peace. For so many older women, nighttime can bring memories of being the caretaker, the problem solver, the one holding the family together. But at 3 a.m., all that pressure is replaced by a gentle invitation to care for yourself, to show yourself the same patience and kindness you've given to others. And here's the best part, there is no right way to do it, and no such thing as failure. If your mind wanders, that's normal. If you don't fall asleep right away, that's okay too. Every time you practice, you're building a habit of self-care that your body and mind will thank you for. So, the next time you find yourself awake in the middle of the night, permit yourself to let go of worries, just for a moment. Focus on your breath. Be gentle. You're not alone in this. With each slow, steady breath, you're creating a quiet space of comfort and healing, right there in the darkness. And who knows? Maybe, like Linda, you'll discover that sometimes the smallest changes, just a breath at a time, can lead you back to the restful sleep you deserve. You are stronger than you know, and this moment, quiet as it may be, is an opportunity to care for yourself in a new way. The night doesn't have to be your enemy. With each gentle breath, you're reclaiming a little more peace, and that, my friend, is a victory worth celebrating. Tip 2. Drink warm water or herbal tea before bed. There's a quiet ritual that many of us remember from childhood. A parent or grandparent preparing a warm drink before bed, the gentle clink of a spoon against a teacup, the rising steam soothing the evening air. Maybe for you it was a mug of warm milk, a little honey and hot water, or even a special blend of herbal tea passed down from one generation to the next. In those moments, the world felt softer, safer, and drifting into sleep seemed a little easier. But as the years go by, we sometimes forget how much comfort can be found in such simple routines. We become accustomed to restless nights, dry mouths, and waking up parched, never pausing to wonder if a small change before bedtime could make all the difference. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. For many older women, waking up in the middle of the night is almost a given. You might find yourself lying awake, not only because of a busy mind but because of a dry throat, a slight headache, or the subtle discomfort of dehydration. Maybe you've chalked it up to aging, or perhaps you worry that drinking anything in the evening will only send you running to the bathroom. It seems like a catch-22. Drink too little, and you're uncomfortable. Drink too much, and your sleep is interrupted by trips down the hallway. So, you resign yourself to a glass of water at dinner and hope for the best. But what if there's another way? What if the right kind of warm drink, taken at the right time, could help your body relax and ease you gently into the rest you crave? Is it possible that something as simple as a cup of tea could be the missing link between you and a peaceful night's sleep? Let's explore what science and tradition both have to say about this comforting bedtime practice. As we age, our bodies naturally lose some of their ability to retain water. The thirst response weakens, and with medications, chronic health issues, or even just the dryness of the air in our homes, it's all too easy to become mildly dehydrated without realizing it. Even a slight drop in hydration can affect the quality of your sleep. Studies from the National Sleep Foundation and several sleep clinics have shown that dehydration can cause headaches, dry mouth, muscle cramps, and even increase nighttime awakenings. And if you wake up at 3 a.m. with an uncomfortable throat, it's no wonder sleep doesn't return easily. Now you might be thinking, I've always been told to avoid drinks before bed, or else I'll be up all night running to the bathroom. That's a reasonable concern, but here's where gentle adjustment makes all the difference. It's not about gulping down a big glass of water just before you turn out the lights. Instead, it's about sipping a warm, calming drink about 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. Just enough to soothe, not enough to overwhelm your bladder. Let's talk about herbal teas. Chamomile, lavender, and lemon balm are among the most beloved sleep teas in American homes for good reason. Chamomile contains an antioxidant called apigenin, which binds to certain receptors in your brain and helps promote sleepiness while reducing anxiety. Lavender tea is known for its relaxing aroma and gentle calming effect. Lemon balm, a member of the mint family, has been shown to relieve stress and promote a sense of tranquility. These teas are caffeine-free, so they won't keep you up, and they work best when enjoyed slowly, letting the warmth spread through your body. Warm water with a slice of lemon or a teaspoon of honey is another simple and effective choice. Honey can help slightly raise your insulin level, which allows tryptophan, the sleep hormone precursor, to enter your brain more easily. The warmth of the drink itself also raises your core body temperature just a little, and as your body cools down afterward, you naturally feel sleepier. There's a gentle science to these old traditions, one that explains why so many cultures have embraced bedtime drinks for generations. But maybe it helps to hear how this plays out in real life. Meet Susan, a 68-year-old grandmother from North Carolina. For years, Susan would lie awake at night, sometimes feeling thirsty but afraid to drink anything after dinner. She'd wake up with a dry mouth, her tongue almost sticking to the roof of her mouth, but she figured this was just what happened as you got older. One evening, her daughter brought her a small cup of chamomile tea, encouraging her to sip it while reading before bed. Skeptical at first, Susan gave it a try. She drank slowly, enjoying the gentle floral scent and the way the warmth seemed to relax the tension in her shoulders. That night, Susan slept through until sunrise. No parched throat, no tossing and turning. Over the next few weeks, she began to experiment. Sometimes herbal tea, sometimes warm water with honey, always sipping slowly about 45 minutes before she planned to turn in. She paid attention to her body, finding the right amount so she didn't need to get up during the night. Not every night was perfect, but more often than not, she found herself falling asleep with greater ease and waking up feeling refreshed, no longer dreading bedtime. "It's such a small thing," Susan said, "but it feels like giving myself a little kindness at the end of the day." What matters most isn't the drink itself, but the ritual. The act of slowing down, nourishing your body, and signaling to your mind that it's time to let go of the day's worries. So here's a gentle guide to building this habit. About an hour before bed, put on your coziest pajamas and turn down the lights. Choose a favorite mug, one that feels comforting in your hands. Prepare a small cup of caffeine-free herbal tea, chamomile, lavender, lemon balm, or even peppermint if you like, or warm water with a bit of honey or lemon. Take a few minutes to breathe deeply as you wait for the tea to steep, enjoying the aroma. As you drink, notice the warmth as it travels through your body. Allow yourself to be fully present in the moment, leaving behind thoughts of what needs to be done tomorrow. You might even combine this ritual with reading a chapter of a good book or listening to soft music. If you're worried about waking to use the bathroom, start with a smaller cup, maybe just 4 to 6 ounces, and give yourself time to settle before lying down. Over the next several nights, adjust the timing and amount until you find what works best for your body. You'll be surprised at how quickly your mind and body begin to look forward to this nightly pause, a gift you give yourself, as meaningful now as it was in childhood. And if you ever doubt whether such a small change can help, remember Susan's story. She didn't expect much from a cup of tea, but what she discovered was a new way of caring for herself. A simple, gentle act that told her body and mind, it's okay to rest now. You're safe, you're cared for, and you deserve a peaceful night's sleep. There's something deeply reassuring about returning to rituals that honor the rhythms of life. In a world that's always rushing forward, pausing each evening to sip a warm drink can be a quiet rebellion, a statement that your well-being still matters, no matter your age. It's not about chasing perfection, but about making small choices that nurture your spirit. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, consider giving yourself this gift. Brew a cup of tea, warm a little water, or simply sit quietly and savor the calm. Let your body know that the day's work is done and it's time to rest. Sometimes, the path back to sleep begins with nothing more than a moment of comfort and a warm cup in your hands. You are worthy of restful nights and gentle mornings, of small joys and simple pleasures. Sleep, like life, is made up of these moments. Embrace them, and you may just find that peaceful sleep comes a little more easily, one sip at a time. Tip 3. Limit exposure to blue light from phones and TVs before sleep. Think back to a typical evening these days. Maybe the dinner dishes are put away, the house is quiet, and you're winding down on the living room couch or snuggled up in bed. For many older women, this is the time when they finally get a moment themselves to catch up on a favorite TV show, scroll through photos on their phone, read the news on their tablet, or send a few messages to family. The glow of the screen seems harmless, almost comforting, a window into a bigger world, a way to feel connected and entertained. In those moments, with the soft blue light reflecting on your face, it hardly feels like you're doing anything that could hurt your sleep. But perhaps you've noticed that when you watch TV or use your phone late at night, sleep doesn't come as easily. Maybe you toss and turn, your mind buzzing long after you've turned out the light. Or maybe you wake up at 3 a.m., unable to drift back into slumber, wondering why your nights feel more restless than they used to. Most of us grew up in a time when screen time ended with the late-night news or the final chapter of a good book, not the endless scroll of today's technology. It's easy to think these new habits are just a part of modern life, not something that could stand between you and a peaceful night's rest. But what if the screens we rely on for connection and comfort are sabotaging our sleep? Could the blue light from our phones and TVs be a silent culprit behind those sleepless nights and early morning awakenings? The science says yes, and understanding why can be a powerful step toward reclaiming your nights. Our bodies are naturally tuned to the rhythms of the sun. For thousands of years, humans woke up with the sunrise and began to feel sleepy as daylight faded. This rhythm is called the circadian clock, and it's controlled by a small part of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This master clock responds to light, especially blue wavelengths, which are strongest in the morning sunlight, to regulate the release of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. Here's the catch. The blue light that helps you feel awake in the morning is also present in the screens of modern electronics. Phones, tablets, TVs, computers, even some LED bulbs. When you sit in front of a screen late at night, your brain gets confused. It thinks it's still daytime and holds back on producing melatonin. You might not feel it right away, but inside, your natural sleep cycle is being nudged off track. Instead of drifting into sleep, your mind stays alert, your body resists relaxation, and your chances of waking up in the middle of the night rise dramatically. Research from institutions like Harvard Medical School and the National Sleep Foundation has shown that exposure to blue light within 2 hours of bedtime can delay the release of melatonin by as much as 3 hours, making it harder to fall asleep and leading to lighter, more fragmented sleep. Over time, this disruption can leave you feeling groggy in the morning, cranky during the day, and even put you at risk for memory issues or mood changes. But here's the good news. Once you know how blue light affects your sleep, you can take simple, gentle steps to reduce its impact, without having to give up the connection, entertainment, or joy that your screens bring. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. Mary, a 75-year-old widow from Michigan, loved winding down each evening with her iPad. She'd check Facebook, play a few rounds of online Scrabble, and catch up on the news. It was her way of staying in touch with her children and grandchildren, especially after her husband passed away. But Mary started noticing she was having trouble sleeping. She'd go to bed at 10, but her mind would race for hours, and she'd often find herself wide awake before dawn. "I thought it was just old age," Mary told me, but then my granddaughter said, "Grandma, try putting the iPad away earlier and see what happens." Skeptical but willing, Mary agreed. For 1 week, she made a small change. She set her devices aside at least an hour before bedtime, switching to a paperback novel or listening to soft music instead. The first few nights felt strange. She missed her games and her evening catch-up, but gradually, she realized her mind was quieter. She began falling asleep faster and, remarkably, waking up less during the night. After 2 weeks, Mary felt more rested than she had in years. "It was such a simple thing," she said. "I never would have guessed my screens were keeping me up." So, what can you do to protect your sleep without losing your favorite ways to relax and connect? Here are a few gentle, practical steps. First, aim to turn off all phones, tablets, and TVs at least 60 minutes before you plan to go to bed. This gives your brain time to naturally increase melatonin production and begin the process of winding down. If you enjoy a nightly routine, try replacing screen time with activities that help you relax. Reading a real book or magazine, listening to audiobooks or music, working on a puzzle, knitting, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of herbal tea. If you must use a device later in the evening, perhaps to check on a loved one or listen to a sleep meditation, consider enabling the night mode or blue light filter on your device. Most modern electronics now offer settings that reduce blue light emission after sunset, shifting the screen to warmer, softer tones. While this doesn't eliminate all blue light, it can make a real difference, especially when combined with dimmer room lighting. Another helpful tip is to dim the lights in your living space as the evening progresses. Switch to bedside lamps with warmer bulbs, or use smart bulbs that allow you to adjust the color temperature. Avoid sitting under bright, cool white ceiling lights just before bedtime. Our bodies are incredibly responsive to light cues, even at low levels. And finally, remember that it's not about giving up what you enjoy. It's about creating a rhythm that respects your body's need for rest. Let your evening be a gentle transition from the buzz of the day to the peace of the night. Instead of scrolling through your phone one last time, write a note in a gratitude journal, call a friend earlier in the evening, or look through an old photo album. You might be surprised at how soothing these unplugged rituals become over time. If you find yourself tempted to reach for the remote or your phone out of habit, Remind yourself of Mary's story, or even better, try your week-long experiment. Notice how your body responds. Some people see changes within days. For others, it might take a little longer. There's no perfect rule, and you don't have to be rigid. What matters is finding a balance that allows you to wake up feeling rested and renewed. Limiting blue light exposure is not just a sleep tip. It's a gift you give to your future self. In a world full of screens and digital distractions, choosing to step away each evening is a powerful act of self-care. It's a way of saying, my health, my rest, and my peace of mind still matter, no matter how old I am. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, notice the glow of your screens. Try setting them aside just a bit earlier. Let your mind unwind the old-fashioned way, with quiet, warmth, and the soft comfort of a home preparing for sleep. In the end, the greatest connection is not with your phone or your TV, but with your well-being, the calm assurance that you've done something gentle and good for yourself. You deserve a restful night. Each small choice adds up, and each gentle step brings you closer to the peaceful sleep you've been missing. You're not alone in this. Millions of others are taking these same steps right now, rediscovering the beauty of quiet evenings and truly restful nights. Tip 4. Do gentle stretching or light movement before bed. Picture this. It's late in the evening. The house is still, and the world outside is quiet. You're ready for sleep, but as you settle into bed, you notice a familiar discomfort, the dull ache in your back, the tightness in your legs, or maybe just a restless feeling that makes it hard to relax. For so many older women, these aches and stiffness have become part of the nightly routine. You might think, that's just part of aging, or maybe you brush it off, thinking there's nothing to be done except to wait for sleep and hope the discomfort fades away. But night after night, the tension in your body can leave you tossing and turning, wishing for a way to ease into sleep more gently. But what if you didn't have to simply endure that nightly discomfort? What if there was something simple and kind you could do for your body that would help you fall asleep faster and wake up feeling more refreshed? Is it true that movement, even a little bit, could make a difference at your age, just before bed? The answer is a gentle, science-backed yes. Most of us grew up with the idea that exercise is for the young or the daytime, not something you do right before sleep. But research is showing something beautifully simple. Gentle stretching and light movement can help the body unwind, loosen up tension, and create the perfect conditions for restful sleep, no matter your age. Let's talk about why this works. As we get older, our muscles and joints naturally become less flexible. Years of daily living, carrying groceries, gardening, caring for family, even sitting for long periods, can add up, leaving muscles tight and joints a little creaky. At night, especially after a day of little movement or prolonged sitting, this tension builds up and makes it harder for the body to relax enough for deep sleep. You may feel those stubborn knots in your shoulders or the ache in your hips when you roll over in bed. Sometimes it's enough to keep you up for hours, or wake you in the middle of the night. But here's the science. Gentle stretching increases blood flow to the muscles, signals the body that it's safe to relax, and triggers the release of calming chemicals like endorphins. It can even lower your heart rate and blood pressure, two signals to your brain that it's time to wind down. Studies published in journals like Sleep Medicine have shown that older adults who incorporate light stretching or movements, such as simple yoga or Tai Chi, before bed report falling asleep faster and enjoying deeper, more restorative rest. And the best part? You don't need a gym, fancy equipment, or special clothes. Just a little time and a willingness to try. Even stretching right there beside your bed or in your pajamas is enough to make a difference. Take Helen, for example. Helen is a 70-year-old retiree living in Wisconsin. After years of restless nights, she started noticing her legs would cramp up as soon as she lay down. Her doctor told her it was a common part of getting older and recommended some medications, but Helen didn't want to rely on pills. One evening, her neighbor suggested she try a few gentle stretches before getting into bed. Skeptical, Helen agreed to give it a go, if only to quiet her friend's encouragement. That night, Helen took just 5 minutes to do some basic stretches, reaching her arms overhead, gently twisting her spine, circling her ankles, and bending forward to touch her toes. She followed her breath, moving slowly, not forcing anything. When she finally got into bed, something surprised her. Her legs felt looser, her back less tense, and her mind calmer. It wasn't a miracle. She still woke up once or twice, but for the first time in months, she drifted back to sleep without the usual struggle. Encouraged, Helen made gentle stretching a nightly habit. Over time, her cramps almost disappeared, her sleep improved, and she woke up feeling lighter and more positive each morning. "It's 5 minutes just for me," she says. "It's become my favorite way to say good night to my body." So, how can you bring this gentle practice into your evenings? Start small and listen to your body. You might begin by sitting on the edge of your bed, rolling your shoulders in slow circles, then tilting your head from side to side to release neck tension. Stand and reach your arms overhead, stretching toward the ceiling. Slowly bend forward, letting your arms dangle and your back lengthen, breathing deeply. Try a seated twist, sitting upright, gently turning your upper body to one side, holding for a few breaths, then switching sides. If standing isn't comfortable, you can even stretch lying down, drawing one knee at a time toward your chest, or slowly rolling your ankles and wrists. If you're curious about yoga, look up bedtime yoga for seniors online. There are plenty of gentle routines created specifically for older adults. Remember, it's not about how far you stretch or how many repetitions you do. It's about moving with kindness and tuning into what feels good for your body. As you stretch, notice how your breath and movement work together. Inhale as you reach or open, exhale as you relax into each pose. This connection between breath and movement sends calming signals to your nervous system, helping your whole body transition from the day's activity to the peace of night. Some people find that combining stretching with soft music or dim lighting makes the routine feel like a true bedtime ritual, a signal that it's time to let go of worries and prepare for rest. You might feel self-conscious at first, or doubt whether these little movements can make a difference. That's normal. But like Helen, give yourself a week, just 5 or 10 minutes each evening, and notice how your body responds. Many older women discover, to their surprise, that the gentle act of stretching is not only soothing physically, but also brings a quiet sense of accomplishment and care. It's a moment to thank your body for all it's carried you through, and to honor the simple truth that you deserve comfort, no matter your age. As you lie down after stretching, notice if your body feels a bit more at ease, your mind a touch quieter. Maybe your shoulders are less tight, or your back is more supported against the mattress. Over time, you may find that aches ease, sleep comes more quickly, and waking up in the morning feels a little more hopeful. If you've ever told yourself that discomfort is just part of getting older, let this be your gentle challenge. Try moving with kindness, even for just a few minutes each night, and see what changes. No perfection needed, no pressure. Just a chance to give yourself comfort and care at the end of the day. You are worthy of restful nights and peaceful mornings, of feeling at home in your own body. Every small step, every gentle stretch, is a way to honor the life you've lived, and to prepare for another day, rested and ready, no matter what comes next. Tip 5. Keep a consistent sleep and wake schedule, even on weekends. There's something timeless about a quiet weekend morning. The way sunlight streams through the curtains, the hush of a house with no demands, and the soft luxury of sleeping in just a little longer. For many older women, weekends and retirement bring the promise of freedom from alarm clocks and daily routines. You've earned these slow mornings after years of working, raising a family, and living by the clock. Maybe you treat yourself to an extra hour or two in bed, relishing the peace, or perhaps you let yourself drift off in front of the television at night, unconcerned with the time because tomorrow holds no obligations. Yet, as comforting as these flexible habits may feel, you might notice something puzzling. The more you let your sleep schedule drift, staying up later, sleeping in, napping longer during the day, the more your nights become restless, and your mornings begin clouded with grogginess. You may find yourself lying awake in the middle of the night, unable to settle back to sleep, or waking up at unpredictable times, feeling unrefreshed no matter how many hours you spent in bed. Many people chalk this up to aging, to just the way things are now. But is it inevitable? Is it possible that keeping a regular sleep and wake time, even when you don't have to, could be the secret to better rest? Let's explore this question together. Because the truth is, your body's internal clock, what scientists call the circadian rhythm, never retires, no matter your age. It's quietly ticking in the background, guiding your body through the cycles of wakefulness and sleep, hunger and digestion, energy and rest. This clock relies on consistency, on regular cues from the world around you, to stay in sync. When you vary your bedtime or wake time, even by an hour or two, it can throw this clock out of rhythm, leading to what some experts call social jet lag. The result is a sleep pattern that feels just as jumbled as if you'd flown across time zones, even though you haven't left your home. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Research shows that maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at roughly the same times every day, including weekends, can help you fall asleep faster, sleep more soundly, and wake up feeling more energized. This routine strengthens your circadian rhythm, so your body knows when to release sleep hormones and when to signal it's time to start the day. It's a simple but powerful habit, and it works for all ages, especially in later life when sleep naturally becomes lighter and more easily disrupted. Let me share a story you might relate to. Karen, a 73-year-old from Minnesota, spent years enjoying the newfound freedom of retirement. She'd watch late-night movies, sleep in on weekends, and sometimes nap during the day if she felt tired. At first, it felt wonderful, but after a while, Karen noticed her nights became more restless, and her mornings were foggy. She blamed her age, thinking, maybe this is just how sleep works after 70. Then, during a routine checkup, her doctor asked about her sleep. Karen described her habits, and her doctor gently suggested trying a more regular schedule. Just for a couple of weeks, he said. Skeptical but willing, Karen set a goal: lights out by 10:30 each night, up by 7 o'clock each morning, even on weekends. She resisted the urge to nap late in the day and kept her morning coffee for after she'd been awake for a little while. The first few days were rough, her body protested, and she found herself lying awake, eyes wide, at her new bedtime. But by the end of the first week, she noticed a shift. She was falling asleep faster, waking up less at night, and most surprisingly, feeling sharper and more positive when the morning arrived. After 2 weeks, Karen realized she hadn't slept this well in years. It was a revelation, she said. Who knew that a little routine could make such a difference? Here's how you can try this for yourself, step by gentle step. Pick a bedtime and wake time that feels natural to you. Don't choose a schedule that forces you up before sunrise or keeps you awake past your natural rhythm. Think about when you typically start to feel sleepy and when your body wants to rise. If you're not sure, start with 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 or 7 a.m., a pattern that works well for many older adults. Stick to your chosen times every day, even on weekends. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes for your body's clock to settle into a groove. It may feel strange at first, especially if you're used to a more flexible schedule. But give yourself a week or two, just like Karen did, and notice how your sleep begins to change. Establish gentle evening and morning routines to signal your body. In the hour before bed, dim the lights, read a book, listen to soothing music, or do a little gentle stretching. In the morning, open your curtains, step outside if you can, and let the sunlight help set your clock for the day. If you feel tired during the day, try to avoid long or late naps. A short nap after lunch, 20 to 30 minutes, is fine if you need it, but avoid sleeping later in the afternoon, as it can make falling asleep at night harder. Don't be discouraged by setbacks. There will be nights when sleep is elusive, or mornings when you wake up too early. That's normal. What matters is the gentle persistence of your routine. Each night is a new chance. You might worry that this kind of routine will rob your days of spontaneity or the pleasure of a lazy weekend morning. But the reality is, a consistent sleep schedule gives you more energy and alertness, so you can truly enjoy the freedom that retirement brings. It's a kindness you offer to yourself, a gift that keeps paying back in clearer mornings and more restful nights. It's never too late to teach your body this gentle rhythm. Remember, your circadian clock wants to help you. It just needs your cooperation. Over time, you'll notice not just better sleep, but brighter moods, steadier energy, and even sharper thinking. And if you ever feel frustrated, recall Karen's story, and know that many others are walking the same path, rediscovering the quiet power of routine in an age when life is finally your own. So, as you look forward to tonight and tomorrow, consider making your sleep schedule as regular as sunrise and sunset. The world may change, your days may be freer than ever, but your body still thrives on the steady drumbeat of rhythm. Let your nights and mornings become anchors, small acts of care that remind you. You deserve rest, peace, and the gentle joys of waking refreshed every day at any age. As our journey together draws to a close, I hope you feel encouraged and inspired to try these simple, science-backed tips for better sleep. We've explored the power of deep breathing and mindfulness to quiet a restless mind, the comfort found in a warm cup of herbal tea, the importance of putting away our screens before bed, the gentle gift of stretching tired muscles, and the steady rhythm of a regular sleep schedule. Each tip is small on its own, but together, they offer a gentle roadmap back to restful nights and brighter mornings. Remember, struggling with sleep isn't a sign of weakness or just an inevitable part of getting older. It's a challenge millions of older women face, but you are never alone. The smallest changes, one slow breath, one warm sip, one stretch, one early bedtime, can make a world of difference. Be patient with yourself. Give your body and mind time to adjust, and celebrate each small victory along the way. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which tip spoke to you the most? Have you tried any of these habits before, or is there one you're curious to begin tonight? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another viewer needs to find hope. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gentle guidance on health and happiness in the golden years. Until next time, know that you deserve peaceful sleep and joyful mornings, at every age and every stage of life. Sleep well, my friends.